Good afternoon, teacher. Today I'm going to talk about task-based language and content classes. First, I'm going to talk about principles of communicative language teaching. Communicative language teaching is an approach toward language teaching and learning. Its goal is to make use of real-life situations to stimulate language use. In the communicative approach, the student is the protagonist of the teaching learning process, and the teacher becomes a mediator whose function is to guide the student to improve their communicative skills. Then we have the principles. Here we have 8 principles. First, principle 1, using task as an organization principle. For decades, traditional methods of language teaching have used grammar as a basis for organization syllabus. Using CLT methodologies, grammar is no longer the principal issue. In other words, the development of communicative skills is placed at the forefront, and grammar is only used to support language use in real-life simultaneous situations. Principle 2, promoting learning by doing. A task-based approach to learn implies the notion of learning by doing. It is based on the theory that a hands-on approach positively enhances learners' cognitive engagement. Principle 3. Input needs to be rich. Considering input, we are exposed to input while we develop our native tongue. We can see that we are exposed to faces in numerous contexts and situations over many years. Needless to say, there is no way we can replicate this rich input in the classroom in order to develop native-like language skills. Principle 4. Input needs to be meaningful, comprehensible, and elaborated. One essential thing for learning to occur is that the information we process needs to be meaningful. In fact, the information which is being presented must be clearly related to the existing knowledge that the learner already possesses. Principle 5. Promoting cooperative and collaborative learning. In general education, cooperative and collaborative learning has longer been recognized as a stronger facilitator of learning. Students work together in small cooperative teams, such as groups or pairs, to complete activities. Principle 6. Focusing on form. One of the debates about grammar teaching is in the issue of whether to make grammar explicit or whether to have the learners figure out the rules themselves. Principle 7. Providing corrective feedback. Feedback can be categorized in two ways: positive feedback and negative feedback. On one hand, positive feedback is when it confirms the correctness of the student's response. Teachers demonstrate this behavior by showing understanding, agreeing, and other adjectives. On the other hand, negative feedback is known as an error correction, which has a corrective function on a student language behavior. And finally, Principle 8, recognizing affective factors of learning. Over the years, consistent relationships have been demonstrated between language attitudes, motivation, performance, anxiety, and achievement in second language learning. One characteristic of language learning that has received a great deal of attention over the past years is the role of anxiety during the learning process. Now we are going to talk about task-based language teaching as alternative to traditional methods. First, we have defining task. Various definitions of tasks have been provided. Skihan in 1996 defines a task as an activity in which meaning is primary, there is some sort of relationship to the real world. Task completion has some priority, and the assessment of task performance is in the terms of task outcome. Then we have the task-based syllabus. According to Ellis and Shintani, 2013, language teaching involves decisions about what content to teach and how to teach the content. This involves making decisions at the level of syllabus design and methodology. Then we have implementation of TBLT. The participatory structure of a lessons concerns how the teacher and students contribute to the performance of the task are organized. In TBLT, the teacher's role needs to shift from that of knowledge provided to that of facilitator. And finally, we have task in language and content based instruction. Plurilingualism is defined as the ability to use language for the purpose of communication and to take part in intercultural interaction, where a person, viewed as a social agent, has proficiency of varying degrees in several languages and experience of several cultures. That is all, teacher. Thank you so much.